Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial where we will be learning C++ programming language from the scratch. But first, in order to write and run C++ code, we need a special software that allows us to write our code and then run it. This software checks and translates the code we write using something called a compiler. This type of software is also called an IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment, which is a software that provides tools for developing programs. And actually, there are many IDEs available there if you search for C++ IDEs in your web browser, like Visual Studio and CodeBlocks. But in this tutorial, I'm going to use CodeBlock because in my own opinion, I think CodeBlock is easier to get started with compared to Visual Studio, which is somehow overwhelming for beginners, even though Visual Studio is a really powerful tool. So anyway, let's get started by downloading the CodeBlock by typing CodeBlock in our web browser and then get to their homepage here, and then we can go get to the download page by clicking this download link and then click the download the binary release. Finally, we have a lot of options for different operating system here, but in my case I'm going to use Windows because I got Windows 10 here. And then you also have different options here. You are going to choose this option, setup.exe, with this one, MinW. And yeah, let's wait for it to start downloading it. Okay, start downloading, and we are going to wait for it until it finish. Okay guys, now that our download is complete, we can click on it and start installing it. You can click on next, and of course we agree and leave everything as it is. Next, and here we can choose a location we want to install our software into. I'm going to choose the default location and wait for it until it completed installing everything. Okay, finally guys, it's completed installing everything. Do you want to run CodeBlock now? I will choose yes. Okay, just press OK. In my case, I'm going to leave everything as it is, okay? And now, let's test this program and see if it's working properly by creating a new project. And then choose console application. And next. Here, choose C++, not C, because we're going to write a C++ program. And now name this project whatever you want, but in my case, I'm going to name it tutorial 1. And then choose a path that you want to save this file into. In my case, I'm going to save it in desktop. Next, leave everything as it is. Finish. And here we are. And to get into our C++ code, go here and click on this plus icon and click on the main.cpp. And here's our first C++ program. And we can run this program to see if CodeBlock is installed without any problem by clicking on this button over here. This button build and run the program and see if there's any error in our code. And as you can see, it's working properly. Yeah, we installed CodeBlock without any problem. And for each run and execution, please don't forget to close this window. Okay, finally, before we end this tutorial, let me explain to you what each line of this program do. So first, let's talk about include. Include is a code that allows us to add files or libraries into our program. We add these specific libraries because we will gonna need them in our project. And let's take IOStream here as an example. Why did we add it? This is a library and we add it for a purpose. So why did we add it here using the include code? We add it because it allows us to use codes like cout here. But what does cout do and why we need it? Cout allows us to display output in the screen, where the reason we see hello world in the screen when we run the program is because hello world comes next to the cout code, as you can see here. So that's why, and we can see hello world here. And cout allow us to do that. And actually cout stands for character out because it display character out of the screen. And now let's talk about namespace. Actually, it's hard to explain it right now, but you can say that namespace is a border that separates objects like cout to another object in different file that may carry the same name. So it don't cause a conflict between those code that have the same name, but they do different function. Like cout here display an output, but in different file, it may do something else like add between two numbers. So namespace avoid conflict. And now let's talk about int main here. So what is int main? Int main is the starting point of our program, where computer always start executing the code inside the main, which is between this curly bracket over here. And you may ask, what do I mean by when I say it always starts in the main? Well, actually main is called a function, and we can have multiple function in a single code. And let me give you an example here. We're going to copy this one and paste it multiple times. But when we are having a function, we can name the function, and this function that we have it before is called actually main function. And when our computer program start running the program, it always start looking for the main function and then start running it and ignore the other function, like you may need this main2 and main3. It will ignore all this function and only search for the main function and execute all the program which is between this curly bracket, which is inside the main. So every code between this curly bracket is inside the main, and it will ignore everything else. Like here, if we change here like 2, 23 or whatever, and here 34, it will ignore all these functions and only display this output over here, as you can see over here. And let me delete this. Now finally we have the return 0. What is return 0? Return 0 just tell our computer that our program has finished and that we reached the end of our program. And finally we have here something called semicolon, as you can see. Like if we have a line of code, we always should end it with semicolon. And that's all for today's tutorial. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.